If you're born in the 80s like me, you probably have a bunch of old black and white family photos of your parents and grandparents that you'd love to bring back to life. Many apps and services already offer to do this kind of thing, but now the feature is available right into One UI on the Samsung Galaxy S24. So I went hands-on with it to see if Samsung's newfangled AI is really good at colorizing black and white photos or if it sucks. Alright, before we get started, I want to explain the methodology here. Because I wanted to see how good Samsung is at bringing back the colors of the original photo, I had to have the original photo in front of me to compare it against. So I couldn't test this on a bunch of old black and white photos because, well, I don't know the original colors there. So what I did was I took a bunch of recent colored photos of my own and I turned them into black and white, I saved them, and then I applied the Colorize feature on top of them on the Galaxy S24. This way I had the original photo, the black and white photo, and the colorized version that the Galaxy S24 gave me, and I could compare everything against each other. I was also limited a little bit by Samsung. Colorize is a smart suggestion inside the Samsung Gallery app, and I can't force it to pop up. I have to wait for the option to show up for me, and only then I can use it. For example, Samsung refused to give me the Colorize option on these two black and white photos of sushi platters, so I guess they'll have to remain black and white for now. Before we get to the most disturbing results, and trust me, there are a few, I want to focus on the examples where Samsung really did good. First, with people. In general, the Galaxy S24 was really good at bringing back the color of skin, hair, tongues, and lips. I know it sounds easy to us, but all that the algorithm is seeing is a patch of gray where my husband's lips are, and that gray is basically the same shade of gray as his sweater in the black and white photo. But the algorithm is relatively smart enough to know that it should turn his lips pink, and it should turn the sweater into something like blue-grayish shades. I'm sure you noticed that the colors are a little bit colder, and the colorful ceiling panels behind us are left a little bit white or beige, but personally I don't really mind that. If I'm going to use this feature to colorize a bunch of old photos of my parents and grandparents, then I definitely care more about getting them and their faces right instead of the ceiling above them. The Galaxy S24 also did really well with some outdoor and landscape photos. My absolute favorite is this photo of a river in Amiens, where it practically nails all of the colors, from the blue of the sky and river to the green of the trees and riverbank next to it. It's a bit warmer than the original, but I think it gets pretty close in my opinion. The Galaxy S24 also did really well with this photo of a lighthouse, bringing back the white and red. The colors are a bit faded, but at least you have the blue, green, white, and red exactly where they should be. Here are a couple more examples where it did well in recreating the original colors of a photo. Samsung also did an okay job bringing back this burger pic. It recreated the yellow of the cheese and the fries, the golden brown of the bun, and the green of the lettuce. But if you look closely, you will see some weird greenish shades on the burger patty. I think it passes the general at a glance test, but it's not that good. Things didn't always go that well though, and there are some examples where I really wasn't impressed. Take this photo collage of me. The colorization looks good at first glance, but then you notice that there's some weird bluish shade on the left side of my face. And then look at this photo of a Samoyed, where the colorization turned out a picture that's a bit too purplish and pinkish in my opinion. Everyone knows the Samoyed is a breed of dog that's mostly white, with a few strains of brown and beige in a few places. Samsung's AI should know that too. And then there's this majestic photo of a cat where Samsung mostly guessed the green of the eyes, but turned the entire pic a little too warm. This isn't an orange cat, Samsung. The Samsung and cat photos got me a little curious. Is Samsung using a simple data set of photos to learn from, or is it applying extra AI smarts to detect what exactly is in the photo to colorize it back? The next examples answer that question, and I'm afraid it's bad. Alright, the worst example is this breakfast bowl with colorful strawberries, blueberries, and bananas, which all turn into a brown mush. I'm sorry, but any artificial intelligence that doesn't recognize strawberries as red isn't really an intelligence in my books. This also happened with the pink ham on this pizza, which turned into a light brown. And it happened again with a bunch of colorful photos of flowers. Samsung failed to bring back the blue-purple of the globe thistle, the orange and yellow of the Peruvian lily, and the pink center of the hibiscus. Now I know what you're thinking. Who's going to waste their time colorizing old black and white photos of food and flowers? And yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure that this feature will be used a lot more to colorize photos of people and maybe pets. Personally, these are the photos that I treasure the most and that I want to bring back. But I use these examples as a way to see if Samsung's AI is really analyzing what's inside the photo and colorizing it back, or if it's just guessing. And I think the answer is pretty clear here. Beyond people, grass, trees, pets, the sky, the AI doesn't really seem to know what's inside the photo, and most times it's just guessing. All right, so with that in mind, I pushed my experimentation a little bit further. So I tried to see if it was using the GPS coordinates of a photo in order to colorize some famous places and buildings. And the answer again here is no, as evidenced by these photos of the shipping containers in Le Havre, the colorful buildings of Bilbao, and the Oval Room in the Bibliothèque Nationale de France. After testing over 30 samples, I came away with a few conclusions. First, yes, you should be able to use your Galaxy S24 in order to colorize old black and white photos of family members. It'll work well on their faces, but it might fail to recreate the colors of everything else around them. Second, for pets, you should hold your breath. You might get some decent results, but you will have to adjust the temperatures and the hues of the photos in order to avoid a lot of excessive purple or yellow. For everything else, it's a toss. If you have some cherished memories of landscapes, nature, cities, meals, and more, you might get something usable, or you might get something like this, where everything feels like it went through a bad vintage filter. Or even this, where everything is green, including the red roofs. In most cases, you should give up on recreating mixes of colors, and specifically the red color. You saw what Samsung's algorithms did to the red of the strawberry and the Peruvian lily. Personally, I'm a bit disappointed. I've been waiting for this feature ever since Google teased it at I/O in 2018. Google rolled it out a little bit as a beta in Google Photos, and then it took it away. Now it's no longer there. So I was hoping Samsung would fill that gap, and as you saw, it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. What do you guys think? Do you think the Galaxy S24 was good at colorizing black and white photos, or did it fail? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to follow Android Authority for all the latest news, reviews, tests, and more.